Hi, my name is Greer Victoria Clark, and I'm a student here at St. Thomas University. And as many people know, St. Thomas University is well known for its cultural diversity. And along those lines, we have student athlete Halima Linares in studio with me to talk about cultural diversity and her experience here at St. Thomas University. How are you, Halima?
I'm good, and you?
Great. Could you briefly explain your cultural breakdown, your ethnic breakdown for our viewers?
Sure. As many do not know this about me, my mom is Jewish and my dad is from Peru. He actually has some family members from Venezuela as well. My grandparents were Russian. My grandfather was Russian. My grandmother was Hungarian. So I have quite of a cultural mix, and that's the breakdown of me.
That's wonderful. And understanding that you come from a unique culture, unique breakdown, one's individual culture usually makes them who they are. How would you say that your culture has influenced you and made you the Halima Linares that we know today?
Well, I think it makes me unique because not only do I have the Hispanic side on my family, which I get to know all the cultures from his side and I fit in, especially in Miami. But on top of that, I actually have the Jewish side, which is very interesting because I got to celebrate all the holidays. We celebrate all the major holidays, Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, Hanukkah, and I'm exposed to the Jewish life and the Jewish cultures, and I think that's what makes me unique, makes me different from everyone else.
And it's to my understanding that you recently had a pilgrimage, you went to Israel over the summer. How was that, being that, Israel's, the holy land of all holy lands, and for you as a Jewish person?
Well, I've always wanted to go to Israel ever since sophomore year of high school, when I actually first started getting into Judaism. Before my family was like secular, meaning not very observant. So going to visit my grandfather every summer, I began getting more interested in Judaism, and that was my goal to go to Israel. And it was fulfilled, and I was actually able to go for about a month and a half through a study program where we studied religious studies and about the different holidays and traditions and rituals and customs. And it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I wouldn't have given it up for anything. I learned about my culture. I learned how many different types of Jews there are. There's Jews, it's very diverse in Israel. There's Jews from all different parts of the world. And it's just an experience. There's not one word that I can explain, but you just feel so connected to God. Like, it really is a holy place. Like, people just see, oh, it's a holy place, but it really is. You feel very connected to God. You feel like you're on another level, and just seeing all the the history of the Jews just empowers me as a Jewish woman and as an individual to do more.
Was there any particular point that there was a complete highlight for you, like an epiphany or some point where you just said, wow, this is worth it, worth going?
Yeah, there were many times I had that, not only for the people that I met, but the things that I learned, but as well as like going to the Wailing Wall, or the Western Wall, which is what's the only piece of construction that was left from the destruction of the Second Temple. So visiting that was just, I don't know, it just made me see how strong the Jewish people really are, and how they've been fighting ever since the country became a country, and how they still are fighting, but they're not going to give up, for what they stand for.
And as I've mentioned before, St. Thomas University is well known for its diversity here. We have international students, and we have students from all over. Even though you're an American, you are most likely a minority here. This is a Catholic university. How has the St. Thomas experience gone for you, not really coming from a Catholic background?
Well, at times, I have to admit it is awkward, considering that I don't know a lot about Catholicism that most people do, since I've never been around it. So it is interesting to learn more about Catholicism as I go along in my classes and through teachers and different people. However, I do feel grateful that they don't force people to go to Mass or to practice some of the holidays and respect other people's beliefs. However, it is a bit awkward sometimes, just because I'm not Catholic. But my experience here has been, it's been great so far. I've met a lot of different people and from diverse backgrounds, and it's been interesting.
That's nice. And we had a conversation. Halima's a very good friend of mine. We had a conversation several days ago about tolerance and religious and racial tolerance. So looking at the fact that, people have fought wars for thousands of years, if you could break it down into one sentence and say and promote positive religious and racial tolerance in the world, how would you really say it if you given the moment right now?
Well, I think everyone should be tolerant of other religions and backgrounds, just because, you know, I mean, that's the foundation of America. I guess it's like America's like a melting pot. They say that, you know, it's different cultures all mixed together trying to get along. So I think, you know, tolerance is one of the main things that people just have to have. And they have to understand that people are different. Just like I was telling you, you know, who would want to be around all the same type of people? It'd get boring, you know? You want to be around different type of people so you can learn different things. So I think, you know, just having an open mind and being, you know, accepting other people for who they are and not necessarily what they believe in, I think that will go a long way, and maybe in the future, hopefully, bring peace, you know, to all the people that are fighting nowadays for what they stand for.
So Halima, do you have any last words, closing statements for our audience?
Sure, I would just like to encourage every student out there to just, you know, ask questions. If you see someone different, don't judge them, but just, you know, try to get to know them. Because there's a lot of different people out there that, you know, want to share their story just like me. And, you know, they're interesting, and I think you can learn something from those people. So just get out there and ask.
Well, thank you, Halima. You've taught me so much. You're a great friend, and I have to thank you once again for conducting this interview with me. I'd also like to thank our viewers. You know, St. Thomas is very diverse, like I said. We can't reiterate it enough. So next time you're on campus, go say hello to somebody new and different and try and get to know them. You might learn something that you did not know. So again, my name is Greer Victoria Clark, and have a nice day.